So welcome. Today is first day of class. My name is Dr. Chris Burke. You can just call me Burke if you like. But this is CSCE 155H. That's Computer Science 1 Honors. Just making sure that everything works on YouTube here. Good. We are live streaming, of course, as we will always do, so that the recordings are available immediately afterwards. Or you can you can watch remotely if you need to. If you have a positive test or something like that, or you get sick and you can't come in, of course you can always watch live on YouTube. In addition to that, we've got the chat going over here. I won't pay too much attention to that. Instead, I will pay attention more to the Piazza live Q&A, which is also going over here. So if you have a question throughout the entire process here, you feel free, those of you that have attended in person, to go ahead and raise your hand. Otherwise, if you don't feel comfortable doing that, go ahead and post a question over here on Piazza and I'll see it and I'll answer it. Okay? So again, this is Computer Science 1 Honors. I teach the main section as well, which is 155E. But this is an honors section. We'll get to what that means here in a moment here. But today I wanted to give you a course introduction, and we're going to get started a little bit today. I sent out messages on how to get started already with the CS50 IDE as well as Eclipse, because we will be covering two programming languages in this course in parallel. But otherwise, Canvas is your go-to place for all course material. There's course information, there's some additional resources, and there's getting help from me and from the LAs that are associated with this course. But you'll see that it's laid out module-wise here, and each module corresponds to about one module per week. It's separated into topics, of course: introduction, basics, conditionals, loops, etc., etc. Each module has four parts. Right? There's the material, the actual material that we'll cover, the graded activities, and then some additional suggested resources if you want to take a deeper dive. The material is based on lectures, readings that are not graded but that are highly suggested that you do, and then pre-prepared video series that unfortunately only covers C. I'll be covering Java in class along with C. And also you have labs and hacks, both a C version and a Java version that we'll come back to here when we look at the syllabus. Otherwise, there's suggested reading, there's suggested viewing sometimes, and some additional resources. And so basically on a week-by-week basis, you've got everything organized right here in Canvas. Course information, we meet Tuesdays and Thursdays, 11 to 12:15, every week except for, of course, for the holidays. The live stream is available at this URL right there. The recordings, again, are immediately available on my YouTube channel. Otherwise, when I go back to my office, and I'll update it so that it's added to this playlist right here. We have two lab sections. That was more for flexibility. Right now, there are 26 people enrolled in this course, 13 in each lab. That's not necessary. We could have combined that, but we expected a lot more folks to be enrolled. Yeah, go ahead. Say what? Oh, absolutely. You don't need to ask, man. Yeah, go ahead. Oh, same? Oh, yeah, you don't need to ask, man. Again, my name is Dr. Chris Burke. I'm over in Shore 105, but that's closed to the public for this fall semester. So all of my office hours are held online, which unfortunately I didn't put them here, but I will. They're Mondays and Wednesdays from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock. That's something I need to update here. But otherwise, we will be live streaming all of the lectures. Some additional resources here. There's the textbook for this course. It's free. It's my textbook. It's free and open source. You can even go to Bitbucket and check out the LaTeX source if you really want to. Otherwise, Piazza is our online discussion board, and again, we use that for just regular discussion. For any questions that you might have, don't email me directly. Just put them on the Piazza. You can post anonymously. You can post so that it's completely private and nobody else sees your messages except for the instructors. You can post publicly, identifying yourself, or you can post so that only the instructors know who you are. And the great thing about that is that you will get a much faster response if you post your question on Piazza. In fact, if you email me your question, I'm just going to say, great question. Let's take that over to Piazza so that everybody gets the benefit of the answer. And you'll find out that, that other students and the LAs are there to answer questions too. That's why you're going to get a much quicker response. All right? So make sure that you're using Piazza to its fullest. We have a hand-in that you'll be using tomorrow in lab and for all of your graded material. And we have also got a grader that you'll also be using for all of your graded material. The basic back and forth is you write code, you submit it to the web hand-in, you go over to the web grader, you grade it. Here's the expected output, here's your output. They match? Great, you're good to go. They don't match? Go back, fix it, right? And fix it and resubmit, regrade as many times as you want up until the due date. Right? There's no reason that you can't get everything to be perfect in this. Right? We'll talk about the syllabus here in a second. Otherwise, there's some other documents here. For example, bringing your own device so that you're not tethered to the lab computers downstairs. Code usage guidelines. What is okay to use? What is not okay to use? In general, I do allow a huge amount of collaboration in this course, but there are situations in which you do not that you have to work alone, in which case you should not use other people's code, etc. There's a code grading rubric here. When we grade code, the labs are based on completion. We'll talk about that in a moment. But otherwise, grading is based on style, documentation, design, and correctness. So if you want to, take a look at that rubric for all the details of what we'll be looking for when we grade your code. There's also a troubleshooting guide. If you're having problems with compiling or something like that, go ahead and check that out. And if your question's not addressed by that, then please ask us on Piazza and we'll help you. Student Resource Center is right in the basement here, room 13, I think it is. I don't even know if it's labeled anymore, but it's that direction. You also have a full instructional lab, Avery 20, that you'll take your weekly labs in. And then we've got an open lab right below us, Avery 15, that is open 24/7 with key card access. So that you, if you need to use the lab or office hours are held in that lab, then you have that as a resource as well. If you'd like to contact the department anonymously, we have an anonymous feedback form here. If you have questions about the departmental academic integrity policy, it's fully written out here. If you have problems with your account, you can go to account management. You'll do that tomorrow to get your account if you haven't already. It's just cse.unl.edu/account, and you give them your Huskers email, and then you get your CSE account. There's a full system FAQ, as well as a bunch of other miscellaneous resources here. So check that out throughout the semester if you want to. Otherwise, how do you get help? And we've got an entire team of like 20 LAs. Those are learning assistants, undergraduate learning assistants, that are basically the people that took this course last year or the year before. They're sophomores and juniors, so they're near-peer mentors. They're there to help you if you need it, right? It's completely optional. You don't have to go to their office hours. You can go to their office hours in person or virtually using Zoom. The Zoom link is right here. When you're in Zoom, you can go into a breakout room. You can share your screen, show your code. They can share your screen. They're not going to be able to edit stuff directly, but they can walk you through a couple of things. Otherwise, you could just show up in person downstairs. All of their office hours are held throughout the entire week here, excluding Tuesdays and Thursdays, as well as the lectures for both the main section and the honors section. Because there's no office hours during those times because we're broadcasting, right? But otherwise, you can see that they hold like 60 different office hours per week. Most of them are associated with the main section. That's okay. You can still ask them questions. Most of them will know C and Java like the back of their hand, right? That's why they were hired, right? All right. So, any questions so far? Otherwise, you're welcome to go to the Student Resource Center as well. But all of our LAs will be will be holding their office hours in Lab 15 if you want to go there in person. The Student Resource Center tends to be more of a social hangout, I guess. But all the graduate assistants hold their office hours there. It can get quite busy during the traditional, homework due dates and stuff like that. All right, so let's look at the syllabus here. The syllabus is linked to on Canvas. If you just go to well, not that syllabus, but if you just go to syllabus, it'll take you over here to GitHub, and it's hosted over on GitHub. I want to start out with a couple of quotes here, because that tells you what this course is a little bit about. The first one is by Douglas Adams from a book, one of his books, Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency. And he says that if you really want to understand something, the best way is to try and explain it to somebody else. That forces you to sort it out in your own mind. That's really the essence of programming. And I will add into there not just programming, but problem solving in general. By the time that you've sorted out a complicated idea into small little steps that even a stupid machine can deal with and understand, then you've certainly learned something about it yourself. That's the essence of problem solving, which is what truly computer science is. It's about mathematics, it's about problem solving. Not that other disciplines aren't about problem solving, but that's the heart of computer science. You take a large problem and you break it down into smaller bits so that a stupid machine can understand what you want to do, right? You can't tell a machine, at least not yet. We're not in the AI future yet, where you can tell a machine exactly what you want and it understands and it goes off and does it in plain English, right? You can talk to them in plain English. You can't do that yet. Instead, you have to still solve the problem. Computers don't solve problems. You do, right? People are still the problem solvers. Computers only automate solutions, right? The second quote here is from another author, Michael Crichton. He wrote Jurassic Park, if you don't know, a bunch of other things, and Andromeda Strain. In my experience, you assert control over a computer, you show it who's boss by making it do something unique. That means programming it. If you devote a couple of hours to programming a new machine, you certainly feel better about it afterwards. And again, that's part of computer science, becoming masters of the machine rather than the other way around, right? Don't just be like a normie computer user that, it's magic, right? It's just this magic black box that gives me my answers or whatever. And then become frustrated with it when it doesn't do exactly what it told them. Or more accurately, computers only do exactly what you tell them to do, right? So you told them something wrong, and that's why they're going haywire. This is a quote from course evaluation from a couple of years ago. I can increase the size here. Tell me in the back if you can't hear or if you can't see up here. But the readings were the most underrated thing ever. I've never actually read them, but I wish I did. Thanks for providing them and leaving the whole course available to us. You can check out GitHub and look at all the previous offerings of this course for going back at least 3 years, I think now. Another former student, a year after taking this course, said, enjoyed the videos, did not really watch them until later. Realized that was a mistake now. Right? So both of those, I put those in the syllabus to emphasize the fact that we've got a lot of material, that you can study, right? Take full advantage of it. We've got videos, we've got readings, we've got lecture and lab, right? This one pertains more to the honor section, right? And the major difference between the honor section and the main section. There are only two kinds of languages, ones that people complain about and the ones that nobody uses. That's Bjorn Stroustrup, the creator of C++. And a companion to that is from Eric S. Raymond. Be aware that you will not reach the skill level of a hacker in a good sense here, or even merely a programmer if you know only one language. You need to learn how to think about programming problems in a general way, an abstraction, independent of any one language. To be a real hacker, you need to have gotten to the point where you can learn a new language in days by relating what you know in one language to another language, right? What you already know. This means that you should learn several different programming languages. And that's why I've chosen to structure this honors section that way. We cover 2 languages in parallel. We cover Java and C. Usually what I'll do is I'll cover a concept in C because that's the more difficult language. And this is how you achieve these things. This is how you do this thing in C. Now let's transliterate that over to another programming language, Java. Sometimes it'll be easier. Sometimes it's almost virtually the same. Right? By highlighting those differences and highlighting those similarities, you start to get a feel for what other programming languages might look like. and you'll be able to pick up another programming language like it's nothing. Right? Another previous student here that I'll end with is, for quotes that is, I came into this class able to code by constantly using references and needing to double check my code. I left as a coding machine. The rate at which I did the last homework was like nothing, it was like a whole other person. Right? And that's going to be all of you. All right? You are going to, programming and computer science is a skill like any other skill, like playing the violin, or like riding a bike, or like taking long distance runs. Nobody is good at it the first time. It's only after several iterations of practice that your skill becomes honed and you become better at it. So like this person at the beginning of the semester, it took them hours to do the first assignment. But if by the end of the semester, if they went back and did the same assignment, it would only take them maybe a half hour instead. Right? They're going to be way better by the end of the semester. Many of you probably already have prior experience, or at least prior exposure to several, maybe one or two programming languages already. You will still get better through this class. All right. So, what are the prerequisites? Everybody here qualifies. You are all invited, or by me directly. By our email campaign now. But then you responded and said, yes, I want to be part of the CSE honors curriculum. Or you were invited at new student enrollment, so great. You're probably in the right place. Otherwise, you can't just sign up to this course by yourself. If you want to take a look at the official course description there. But there is a post-requisite here. After this course, most of you, I think everybody here is a major, computer science or computer engineering. To continue on in the next sequence in the program, you do need a C or better. That's really never been an issue with an honors course. So go for that A. Go for that perfect if you can. Right? There's a bunch of skills objectives of what you should be able to do after this. You should have a mastery of fundamental programming in a high-level language, 2 of them. You should be able to approach a reasonably complex problem, design a top-down solution, and code that solution in a high-level programming language that automates those solutions. You should have familiarity with problem-solving methods, including analysis and requirements, etc. You should have a familiarity with software development principles and practices. In this first week, you will use Git. It's a fundamental tool that allows you to. It's a version control system. It's a distributed version control system. If you haven't already, make sure that you're getting a GitHub account because you will need one for your first hack at the end of this week. Right? For a schedule, see the course website. I'll close that. But you can see here that there's a week-by-week schedule. When is your midterm? It's right there on October 20th. When is your final? It's right there. When is all of your stuff due? Well, there should be a calendar here, maybe in the student view, but you can see the calendar and you can see the due dates for everything. Okay. If you have need of accommodations for examinations or whatever else you need, make sure that you are registering with the SSD office. That's the Services for Students with Disabilities office. You do not have to tell me any specifics. They will tell me what the accommodations are. With COVID, that's not really the intention of the SSD office. If you get sick with COVID or if you get a positive test that bars you from coming in the building, for example, that's not really an SSD office kind of thing. You should tell me and let me know, but attendance is never required. Because we're live streaming, you can always watch live. You can always watch it after the fact. You can watch those pre-prepared videos. Lab attendance is not required. You can attend remotely via Zoom, or you can just do the lab on your own and get it done, right? Because everything is asynchronous here. CAPS, that's the Counseling and Psychological Services. We want to make you aware of that. If you're feeling stressed out at any point in the semester, if you're feeling overwhelmed and you want to talk to somebody about it, I am not a counselor, so I will simply send you on to CAPS. You, as students, you have free unlimited counseling sessions if you want them, right? If you need them. Grading, because that's the most important thing, right? No, that's the least important thing. If you do good work and you learn the material, the grades will follow, right? So the grades should be an afterthought. The material should be your focus. There's a skills survey. That's a series of 3 surveys that I sent out already. Make sure that you're doing that. It's just based on completion. You have until not this Friday, but the next Friday, the 3rd. Just get it done. I'd say get it done now. I think last time I checked that there were 80 folks that had completed it already out of 250. So we're already 1/3 there. Just get it out of the way, right? But otherwise, that's worth like almost, what is it? 3% of your grade, right? And you can get a perfect right out of the gate by simply just completing those surveys. Otherwise, we've got labs, hacks, a project, actually 2 projects, and a midterm and a final, with the following grade distributions. There are 14 labs. There are 15 weeks in the course, so obviously there's going to be a week without a lab. They are worth 15 points each. There are 28 hacks, 2 per week, 1 in C and 1 in Java, the exact same exercise but in Java. They're worth 25 points, so more than half of your grade is based on those hacks. There are 2 projects. They're the same project, 1 in C, 1 in Java, and those are due at the end of the semester. There's 1 midterm and 1 final. All right? Those midterm and finals, prior to COVID, they were done in here. They were open book, open note, open computer. In fact, required computer because you are doing coding and you are submitting it and you're grading it, right? There's no paper, absolutely no paper in this course at all. Last year during COVID, since everything was asynchronous, what we did is we opened that up to a 24-hour window. They were still designed to only be done in an hour. But we opened it up into a 24-hour window where you could submit it during that entire 24-hour period. Likely we're to do that again just because it worked out so well. But the project, the midterm, and the final are all closed collaboration. It's going to be your own work. The labs and the hacks, those you can collaborate with anybody that you want, right? If you want to, the main section has already opened up a Discord, and I think like 50 people have already joined it to make those connections. And hey, I'm a night owl. I like working at nights, and then they'll match up with somebody else that wants to do it that way. We could do the same, or I can share with you the Discord invite, and you can start talking to other folks about that, or from the main section. Now, from the main section, they're going to have the same assignments as far as C goes, but they're not going to know anything about your assignments in Java. So you might want to team up with folks in your own section here. The skills survey, again, it should only take you about 1 hour to complete. Just hammer it out and you're done, right? Attendance policies. Because of COVID, I'm not requiring any attendance whatsoever. Right? You can always attend virtually. But because of COVID, if you are not fully vaccinated as per UNL policy, you are required to wear a mask. I've been fully vaccinated since April, but I'm still choosing to wear a mask because it's highly recommended, right? With the Delta variant going around here, especially in labs. When you go down to labs, you'll find that, now, not so true of this section, I guess, but you'll find that, if you're working with somebody directly and you're talking back and forth, right, then you're in close proximity for an extended period of time. You might want to think about wearing a mask, right? Otherwise, labs are weekly hands-on programming assignments. So generally, I will give you some starter code as well as a handout and maybe a worksheet. You complete the code. Hopefully, if you're teaming up with somebody, hopefully you're using what's called a driver navigator system. Where somebody's actually at the keyboard typing. They're the driver because they've got the wheel. The other person has the handout and is directing the activity. They're the navigator. But it should still be an equal effort between both of you. Right? If you want to work alone, that's fine too. But working on those interpersonal skills, working on those teamwork skills, that's going to be a valuable experience. So especially if you're in person, we're gonna randomly pair you up to do that. Okay. You complete the code, you hand it in as specified in the handout, you grade it and make sure that your output matches our expected output, and you're good to go, right? It is based on completion, right? If everything passes over here, everything is the same over here, you'll get the full 15 points. There is a C version and there is a Java version with virtually the same exercises. You only have to do one for credit. Right? You do the C or do the Java, and you'll get full credit for that lab. However, we still highly recommend that you do both, just so that you get that more that practice. In fact, it's good. What's called coding kata, K-A-T-A. Does anybody know what kata is? Anybody do martial arts? I don't do martial arts. So, all right. Apparently, everybody knows Karate Kid, right? Wax on, wax off. That's kata, right? Muscle memory. Doing the same exercise over and over and over again until it becomes second nature and you immediately go into that mode. Coding kata, you continually do the same exercises over and over again until it is second nature. And so that's why you should do both labs, right? It's a good kata practice, right? Working those mental muscle memory, right? Let's see, hacks. So in the main section, their hack time is on Thursdays. It's actually an extra lab hour. Not for this course, though. That's one of the main differences. There are no weekly hack sessions that are official for this course. Instead, you're on your own to team up with somebody or work on it alone or whatever. But there, just like the lab, there's a Java hack and there is a C hack. But those you do have to do both. Start out with whatever language you're most comfortable starting out with. Maybe even switch off. I'll do the C version this week first, and then next week I'll do the Java version first. Right? But ultimately, you have to do both. Once you've solved the problem in one language, you will see how easy it is to solve it in the second language because it's the same solution, just in a different programming language. Right? Both of those have to be completed. They are due by. Oh, sorry, I never said when the labs are due. They're due on Wednesday at midnight. So you don't have to get it done in lab, but you do have to get it done by midnight of that day. So lab 1 is due tomorrow by midnight, 1 second before midnight. And hacks are due the following Monday at midnight. So immediately after you're done with your lab, I would suggest you get into those hacks. And because you have until the next following Monday to get both of them done. Okay. There is a project which is basically just like 3 hacks put together at the end of the semester. In fact, you start on the project in the last hack, hack 14, and then you continue it on your own. And it's a data processing project, right? Everything's posted on Canvas right now if you want to check it out. But otherwise, you can wait till the end of the semester because that's when it's due. Right? There are 2 exams. There's one midterm and one final. Those are comprehensive, and again, we'll probably give you a 24-hour period, in which case we'll release it at midnight the day prior on Canvas automatically. I don't stay up that late. And then you have until midnight the next day to actually get it done. Right? So the 15th week policy, that's the dead week policy. I just have to let you know that project is due in the final week of classes, and this is me informing you in writing of all the due dates. All the due dates are already established. Right? Standard scale, right? Plus minus system. Again, remember you need a C or better, so 73% or better. The grade. Make sure that you're talking, clearing up any grading issues that you have with the actual grader. You'll know who the grader was when later on we'll show you how we grade. We need something to grade to set the system up, but it's a website called CodePost. We push your code out to this other website, and and graders go in and they start marking line by line. This is a great line, or you need more white space on this line, or whatever. And here's all the tests that passed. You'll get an invite to that website later on. And when you look at your submission, your graded submission, it'll tell you exactly who graded it. You can start a conversation with them like, well, that was kind of unclear. What did you mean by that, right? And if you can get it cleared up with them, great. If you still have an issue that can't be resolved between you and your grader, then come and talk to me about it. No late work is accepted. Everything has a hard server time due date. So it's not by my watch, which is 4 minutes fast right now. It is by the system watch downstairs according to that server. Usually computers are good about syncing, with a remote clock. So right now the server time is 11:30, but it's not by your off by 5 minutes clock, right? It is due at midnight according to the CSE system server clock. Once that due date has passed, it's closed. You won't be able to hand anything in any further. Right? It needs to work for us to grade it. If it doesn't work, like it seg faults out or it doesn't even compile for some reason, we got to move on. Right? We've got 250 folks across both sections that we need to grade, and we can't be spending a disproportionate amount of time on something that doesn't even compile. So not really a huge issue usually in the honor section. So again, this is the honor section. I've been doing the honor section for about 10 years now. In fact, exactly 10 years, because I got a piece of plastic or something commemorating my 10th year. I guess it was metal. It was real metal. All right. And anyway, I don't wear suits, so it's like a lapel pin, so I'll probably never end up wearing it. Anyway, this is the honor section, and the biggest difference is that we cover 2 languages in parallel. This is for historic reasons. We used to separate computer science and computer engineers, and one would do Java and one would do C. Well, in the honors section, we had both. So naturally, what do? We cover both, right? And that's the honors credit. That's the key difference here. It's no longer a setup like that, but I kept it because it's worked so well for the last 10 years. The main section, you might have heard, if you've talked to anybody in the main section, uses an online textbook called zyBooks. We don't require that in the honors section. Simply because as honor students, if I do have suggested readings out of my textbook, which is free and open source. And if you need that, maybe lecture is enough. Maybe the pre-prepared videos are enough. Maybe you don't need either, right? But it's on you as honor students to figure out what resources work best for me. Right? zyBooks is kind of more of a hand-holding. This is the bare minimum of what you need to do to the main section for the main section. But as honor students, choose your own adventure, right? And make sure that you're seeking out and utilizing the resources that are most helpful for your learning. Okay. Each week you have a lab. It is highly recommended you do both, but you only have to do at least one for credit. Each week you have a C and a Java version of a hack, and you do have to submit both for credit. Yeah, go ahead.
So, do you do like 2 different versions of labs since it's only required to submit one? Is there still an option to submit?
Oh yeah. When you look at the hand-in, you'll see that there's lab 1, C, lab 1, Java. Just select the correct one and hand stuff in. But you'll be able to hand in whatever version you want. Another question.
So there should be 2 scheduled labs each week?
Nope, just one. There's one at 1 o'clock and then there's another one at 2:30 or something, but you should only be enrolled in one or the other, right?
So what do you mean by 2 labs? Do we have to
There's exercise XYZ in C, the same exercise XYZ in Java.
okay.
So you choose which one you want to do first for credit, and then go off and do the other one on your own time, or if you want to blow it off that week because you've got other things going on, fine. But whatever you need for your learning. Right? Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure I read right. So are both the hacks assigned on Thursday and due Monday?
All of them are assigned right now. Right? They're all open and ready to go.
Okay.
The Thursday date is an artifact of the main section that actually has a hack session. We don't have that in the honors section. I kind of wanted it, but it would have taken too much to get it. So it's on your own time. Right? And again, exams will have a mixture of C and Java exercises. Usually I'll have like 3 exercises. I say, you have to do 1 in C, you have to do 1 in Java, and then the third one is player's choice. Right? Okay. Academic integrity. Again, for the vast majority of things, other than those exams, other than those projects, you are free to work with whomever you want. Right? Outside the class too, if you want to, but that's far less productive than if you work with somebody in the class itself. It's okay to work alone. The best kind of pairing is an actual pair, 2 people. If you have a group of 3 people that wants to work together, that's fine too. 4, 5, 6, that's kind of a crowd. Right, you are diffusing the amount of responsibility and learning among too many people at that point. It's way too easy for the 5th person, the 5th wheel, to just mooch off mooch off of everyone else. Don't do that. Don't undermine your own learning experience. Don't undermine the learning experience of others. And again, I give a longer speech about this in the main section, but it's not that much of an issue, traditionally in an honors section. Best way to contact me and to get help is Piazza. And again, I don't have it up here, but we can take a look. I don't have any web browser open. OBS is still fine, so let's go with Fire. Oh no, this is the web browser. Piazza here. Right. Piazza, hopefully everybody has accepted their invite to Piazza. It is a online forum. You can post anonymously. You can post so that we know who you are. And please, if you do need something specific, make sure that you're not posting anonymously, that you're posting either privately or that you remain anonymous to the rest of the class. That's fine too. But if you tell us, could you check out my code? It's not working, and you're anonymous. I go, well, you're anonymous, so anyone's guess, right? I have no idea who you are. I can't check out your code. So make sure that you are posting correctly. And also, take the opportunity to answer other people's questions. When somebody posts a question, there is a place for the official instructor answer, but there's also a place for a student answer. And you'll find by the end of the semester, students will be answering way quicker, and I'll simply, it's great from my perspective because I just sit there and I check mark, yes, that's the correct answer, right? So you can get a lot quicker response because all the LAs are online there too, but also you can crowdsource it to everybody else. If it's a simple question like, where was our lab again? Somebody will, Avery 20, we're here right now, please come on down, right? So Piazza is your number one go-to place. Again, if you have an anonymous suggestion that needs to go to the department, we have an anonymous contact form right here. The Learning Assistant program, I've mentioned them before. They're undergraduate learning assistants. They're near-peer mentors. They are sophomores and juniors that have gone through at least a year, maybe 2 years of our computer science and computer engineering or software engineering programs. And you know, they know what you're going through because they just went through it, right? They'll be able to help you out. They've got 60 hours of office hours each week that you can attend in person or virtually. Again, getting help, lectures, lecture videos, the required reading or the suggested reading, labs and hacks where you actually get some hands-on experience with the actual coding, Piazza, office hours, etc. Right? Don't procrastinate, right? You'll find that this stuff is challenging. It's not trivial at all. I wouldn't say that it's super hard if you prepare yourself correctly by going through the material, but it is challenging. Right? It's non-trivial. You probably won't be able to wait till the last possible hour to get started. Right? Don't procrastinate. Start immediately after that lab each week. Take a look at the hack for that week, and at least know what you need to have done by the next Monday, and estimate. This one looks kind of hard. It's going to take me 10 hours to do that. Right? Work it backwards so that you're doing 2 hours a day here, 2 hours a day there, 2 hours a day there. This one's only going to take me 3 hours. Still, don't wait till the last 3 hours. Spread that out. Right? If you're working with spikes and troughs of activity where you're furiously busy on 50 different things at once, and then troughs where well, I don't have anything due, so fire up the Xbox or PS, what are we on now? PS5? Okay, all right. I only have a Switch, and that's only for my kids, so I'm not that much of a gamer. But speaking of games, if you are interested, you can join the UNL Game Development Club. They made some fantastic games last year. They'll have a showcase coming up. They've had showcases before, and they'll have some more coming up. I'm the faculty advisor for that. You can join their Discord and find out all about that if you're interested in making some games. Right? But make sure that you're doing your coursework as a priority first. Right? All right, any questions so far? Otherwise, that's pretty much the end of the syllabus there. And again, Canvas holds all of your answers, mostly. Right? If you have any questions, go ahead and post them to Piazza, and we'll go ahead and link back. If it's a unique question, then of course we'll try to address that as well. So with the last 30 minutes here, oh, here we go. We've got some questions online. You post the days when the class streaming will take place besides Tuesday, right? Besides Tuesday? Well, this is, you might be talking about the main section. That's, oh, no, today is Tuesday, right? God. It's every Tuesday, Thursday from 11 o'clock to 12:15. That's Central Daylight Savings Time we're on, right? So CDT, right? Otherwise, check out the playlist because I have that information in there as well. Okay? Yeah?
Many of the tabs on the left are not visible on our side.
Yeah, that's what the crossed out I is. Which one do you want? I don't. There's nothing under him, except for the standard shell that you get with Canvas.
Was the Zoom information on pages?
Oh, okay. Zoom information. How do you get help? Getting help and instructor pages, and it's right here. Does not require a password to get in. It does require a password to become the host. Usually, hopefully, the LAs will have opened up breakout rooms so that you can jump into a breakout room if you really want to. Again, it's not absolutely necessary to use Zoom. Oh, another thing that I would mention that is kind of being piloted, so it might be buggy here. If you go to csclap.unl.edu, you can actually schedule, I don't know what it looks like here. There we go. You can actually schedule a time with an LA outside of the regular office hours. I don't know if you can request a specific LA that you need to talk to, but you can always request one. Like let's see, Bryce right there. Right, you can go ahead and he hasn't put in his office hours yet, so that's a different course. Alex here for the main section. There are his regular office hours. You can view the details. You can go ahead and set up I haven't really taken a look at this, but you can go ahead and submit a request. Not necessarily that it would be honored, because if you request something at 2 o'clock in the morning, probably nobody's going to take that, unless they're night owls too, right? So you can request an appointment as well outside those regular office hours, but man, look at all those office hours, right? There's probably plenty of opportunity already. Right? If you want to know more about us, there we are. There's my office hours. Great, I did. Only via Zoom because, again, Shore is closed to the public for this semester. A little bit about myself. I like sci-fi, reading classics. Biking, not so much bike. I took my first bike ride in over a year. Instead of the last 2 years, I've been doing long distance running. On that note, if you'd like to, you can come out and run with the CSE faculty. It's usually just me and Bonita, another faculty member. The first Friday of every month, 9 a.m., be outside Shore, and we'll go on a 5K together. Excited? Is anybody actually going to come? That's all right. We don't get that many people. All right. Understand our pace if you want. I'll go about 27 minutes, but I'll probably slow down for Bonita's. But we're certainly both under 30 minutes for a 5K. So gauge your pace there. You don't have to run the whole thing. If 9 o'clock doesn't work for you, go ahead and run your own pace, run your own distance, and post it to our social media. Right? Otherwise, Cubs, unfortunately right now, Storm Chasers, they're the Omaha affiliate of the Royals, and of course the Huskers. Baseball for all three of those, and of course football for the Huskers. And hockey, Blackhawks hockey. There's Parul. She's our course leader. She'll be in the first lab section, the 1 o'clock section. And then Gabe and David, they'll be in the 2:30 section. So there's your LA team right there for this course. And again, you saw that there were a lot more LAs. They're associated with the main section, but of course you can always go to any of them and talk about anything with this with respect to this class. Okay? Yeah.
What's the difference between like a lab and
Lab is designed to be done within that hour and 15 minutes. It's okay if you don't get done in that hour and 15 minutes, but they're designed to be done in that time. It's just designed to give you some introduction, hands-on introduction to the material. The hacks are much more substantial. Like they're not designed to be done in an hour. It's going to take you a little bit longer, and that's why they're due on the following Monday. They used to be due on Fridays at midnight. Nobody likes those Cinderella dates. Cinderella turns back into a pumpkin at midnight. So we moved it over to Monday to give people the option of wasting their weekend doing coding. Coding is never a waste, right? Yeah.
So for the labs, there's 2 labs for both Java?
There are 2 versions.
So
You do one of them for credit. You do the other one for your own benefit.
okay,
Yep.
got it.
Yeah.
So it looks like we have two sessions back to back, like 2 lectures, because on Thursday and then Tuesday again. There's no lab in between those 2, right?
Well, no, all the labs are on Wednesday, right?
Yeah, and then we have a lecture on Thursday.
Yeah.
So there's no lab between that and the one on Tuesday. It's just lecture.
Yeah, lecture, lab, lecture, every week. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Are the lab handouts or instructions posted early? Like
Everything for the entire course, except for the exams, which I haven't even written yet, are posted. So for example, tomorrow, lab 1, there's the handout, there's the starter code for the C version. For the Java version, there's your handout and there's the starter code. It'll walk you through checking it out from GitHub, cloning it from GitHub, making edits. I'll do that here in a second as well. And then walk you through handing it into the web hand-in, grading yourself with the web grader, and that's the process you'll go through for everything, for labs, for hacks, for everything.
And do we have to turn them in on Wednesday, or can we do them early?
Oh yeah, you can do, awesome. Do them right now if you want. Yeah, it's just that you won't be able to submit them after the due date and time.
So like theoretically, since it's all available, if you for some reason had some mastery and you just jumped all the way, you could turn in the last one.
If you want to, you could burn through it all right now if you really wanted to. I'd say pace yourself though. Have fun with it. Yeah, but theoretically, yeah, you could do everything right now if you wanted. I was always under the misimpression that all courses were like that everything was released on day 1. Is that? But I've been told that that's not true.
A lot of classes actually almost penalize you for trying to.
Oh.
If you have the incentive to work, you get penalized.
Really? You turn it in early and you get points taken off?
Or like they'll just be like, no, stop.
Oh, okay. I don't mind. Yeah.
So if we did turn in our lab early, would we not have to show up for the lab in person?
You don't have to, but you could come socialize. You could become a mentor to other people. Now, collaboration and mentorship is different, right? Collaboration means that you have somebody that's on the same level. So for the example here would be if you've had 4 years of high school Java or something like that, right? And you don't team up in collaborative sense with somebody who has never had Java in their entire life, right? That's a mentor-mentee relation, not a peer-peer relation. So you can come, you can help people out if you want to. In fact, if COVID was not an issue, and I would require attendance, and you would not be allowed to leave lab until, even if you were done, we'd force you to become that mentor kind of person. But under the circumstances, No, you can skip out entirely if you really want to, but it's kind of fun. I don't know how fun it is. Yeah.
Is there a schedule for when things are graded, or is it about to pick your
Oh, that's a good question. So labs, since I'm doing them all, since it's based on completion, I run a script, but it still takes me quite a while to go through 250 submissions. That's usually done on the day after. Forgive me if I don't get to it right away. But hacks, since they're due on Monday at midnight, the LAs have 48 hours from then to grade it. The course leaders have another 48 hours to do quality checks, and it's released on Friday. So less than a week. My policy is less than a week turnaround on anything. All right. Yep. Yeah.
So I noticed that the first lab is kind of about like setting things up and getting things ready. Are the LAs going to be able to help us?
Oh yeah, yeah. In fact, or you can, for the C version, you can always watch 1.1 and 1.2 here. Those are complete walkthroughs of Lab 1 and Hack 1, but only the C versions. Right? It literally is a walkthrough. I walk through the entire lab and do it. Right? So if you need help on those, the videos are an excellent resource. Otherwise, yeah, LAs are there to help you. Yep. Yeah.
So this is a little unrelated, but on the CS1 survey, there's a part that asks for your section number, and that's kind of confusing.
Your section is 150 or 155H. Just go ahead and put that in there. Yeah. As long as you're putting your NUID, that's what's important. Yeah. We can always map that back.
Is there any,
Go ahead.
is there anything you want us to do now before the lab tomorrow?
I mean, you could look at Lab 1 because you do need some accounts. It'll save you time. I don't know if he still gives the spiel about proper use of the lab computers or whatever downstairs, but it'll save you time if you already have your account because you can just start. Getting a GitHub account is another recommendation. That's not necessarily necessary for tomorrow, but it is necessary for your first hack. Let me reset this. There we go. Just go to github.com and you'll be able to sign up for an account for free. If you use your Huskers email account, I believe that you are eligible for a bunch of free swag and stuff. You may or may not have to fax them like your N card to show that you are in fact a current student. According to Amazon Prime, I'm still a student. I get student Prime, and that's not going to change because I've got a .edu address. But yeah.
There's a web form that you go to through GitHub, and you have to add your like UNL email as an email address. And
Okay.
with UNL, it's good enough that they'll just take it because it's a verifiable like
Okay.
email address. But
That's an
otherwise-
update, but I didn't.
Otherwise, they'll even just take like a PDF of like even your unofficial transcript as.
Oh, okay. Transcripts. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
It's not too difficult, and you get a ton of stuff out of it.
Great. Like any like T-shirts? Or?
It's mostly like discounts on software and free.
Yeah, free software, and
Like
for like a year or something like that, right?
It's like I use all of JetBrains.
Okay.
Suite, and so I get that all the professional for free through Student.
That is something to note. I will be using Eclipse because it's free. If you want to use whatever IDE you want to use, is perfectly fine. You just we won't necessarily be able to give you support for it, because I don't know NetBeans. I don't know what's the other one. I forget what they even are. But what we suggest that you use is what the demonstration I was going to give right now is for C, the CS50 IDE. And in fact, this is what Lab 1 and Hack 1 walk you through. The CS50 IDE, once you've got your GitHub account, it is a free instance of Amazon Web Services Cloud 9. All you have to do is log in here using your GitHub account. And it is a completely 100% browser-based programming environment. This is what we recommend for C. If you want to, you can, of course, download whatever you need to on your own computer and do development in C on your own computer, whatever. But otherwise, let me go ahead and get rid of this. I did this yesterday. And let's go ahead. Over here, you've got your file system over here, and I think that you have maybe up to 2 gigs. That seems quite large, but in any case, you've got your file system over here. You've got your command prompt down here that you can start typing commands. For example, ls is a command that you'll look at tomorrow. It's short for list, and there are the same directories as you can see over here. You can change your directory. You can change into, let me make a directory first of all. I can go ahead and make a directory by right-clicking and new folder, and I'll call mine honors, because we're in the honors section. And when I type ls down here, I can see that new directory over here. Right? I can change my directory into that directory by using cd into honors. Don't worry about, this is just a quick demonstration at the end here. You will be doing this all yourself in lab tomorrow. Right? And if I type ls here, then I see no files, because of course there are no files here. If you want to create a new file, I'll call mine hello.c, my first hello world program. Right? And I'm just going to cut and paste over here. Careful of quick keys. Like Control W is usually my quick key for closing out of a tab. But if you do that, the tab is your browser tab, and that closes out the entire IDE. Don't worry. You come back later on, all of your stuff has been saved. You can, in fact, I would suggest that you periodically download the project. Where is it? Download your entire project as a backup. You can upload files. For example, if you just right-click, you can what? Upload. There's download, import, or something like that. I think it might be up in file. Yeah, upload local files. So you can swap files back and forth between the IDE. It'll persist. It'll save. But don't trust it. Right? It's not a 100% guarantee that your stuff is there. Make sure that you are periodically, like on a week or after you get an assignment done or something like that, go ahead and download it and archive it somewhere. Or better yet, use Git to store your stuff. You'll learn about that in Hack 1. There's my first C program. I'll update it for today. Right. This is a comment. It's an authorship comment. Who wrote this? When did they write this? What about this line? What do you think that means? Include. I'm including what? Yeah, a library. In this case, it's stdlib, the standard library. Let's bring in the standard library. Let's bring in this stdio. IO is input-output. Let's bring in the input-output library because I want to print stuff to the screen. Imagine a world where you don't have the C programming language and you need to write the low-level stuff to even print something to the screen. Right? No, that's terrible, right? Instead, there's something built in that you can use this printf. F stands for formatted. All I'm doing here is printing hello world. This is a special control character. Is that a slash or a backslash? It's a backslash. How can you tell? You face to your right. Are you leaning back for a backslash, or are you leaning forward for a forward slash? Right? So that's a good way of remembering which one is which. This backslash n here is to go to the next line. Right? So it's going to print hello world. Right? Now I'll go ahead and type ls here, and you can see that that is a source file right there. That's not something that's runnable. That's not something that the computer understands. It is a high-level programming language. It's not exactly English, right? But it is close enough to English that a machine doesn't understand it. A regular normal person outside of the class that's never done any coding in their life can kind of at least read the words. Maybe they don't understand what it's actually doing, but they could probably guess. If you gave this to your grandmother, they could probably guess what this does. Oh, it probably prints hello world, right? It's not exactly English, but it is. It's somewhere in between. Right? We need to get this down to a level that a dumb machine can understand, and to do that, we need to compile it. Right? So GCC hello.c. You'll go through this process tomorrow. GCC is the GNU compiler. It's actually the GNU compiler, but we can call it the GNU C compiler for our purposes. It'll actually compile dozens of different languages. Right? No news is good news in the world of Unix. If everything went fine, it won't tell you, right? It'll just stay silent like it just did right here. If there is something wrong, like I forgot to close my double quotes here, save that and try to compile it, it's going to give me an error message. I expected a semicolon here, or I expected, lots of error, warning, missing, terminated, double quote here. Oh, okay. I'll go ahead and put that back in, save it, and recompile it. Oh, did you notice that did I type GCC again? No, what did I do? I hit the up arrow to go through my entire history of every command that I've ever typed. So, including stuff from way back when, apparently. But you can go hit the down arrow to go forward in the list. I'll just go ahead and do that, and I don't have to type it. There are all other shortcuts. GCC HE. I don't want to type the rest of that file name. You hit tab, and it'll automatically complete it for you. Just little tricks like that will speed up and make your lives easier. Right? You'll note over here that it actually created this a.out file. That's an executable file that a dumb computer can understand. In fact, let's open it up. Can you understand it anymore? Is it anywhere close to English anymore?
Yes, totally.
Oh, it's pure binary now, right? There's no way that we're reading this, but oops. But the computer is just fine with it. / now is that a forward slash or a backslash again? Yeah, he's leaning forward, right? A.out, and it runs. Hello world. Right? If I want to put in more exclamation points, rerun it. Is it going to work? Nope. What do I need to do? I need to recompile it and then run it. So edit files, compile, fix any syntax errors, recompile, run, check your results. If it doesn't work, go back to step 1. Edit, compile, run. Edit, compile, run. Yeah?
Is this process going to be the same in Java?
Nope. For Java, I'm going to show you the exact same thing here, but using Eclipse. Now again, if you want to use a different IDE, that's perfectly fine. You said JetBrains is free for a year. I don't use JetBrains because I'm not a student, and even if I were, I would only have it for a year, and then I'd have to start paying for it. And I think that it is quite expensive. We're talking like $600 a year or something like that.
It's let me renew each time.
Oh, it does. As long as you stay a student.
Yeah, as long as I'm a student.
As long as
I
you
don't
stay a
think
student.
JetBrains will be getting my money.
Yeah.
Like,
They're certainly not getting my money. Eclipse is free, and this is what it looks like when you install it. The links to install it and Java were given in the welcome message on Piazza, so make sure that you're following those instructions. If you don't want to install it, you can always use the lab computers. Eclipse is available on all the labs computers, both the Windows partition and the SUSE Linux partition. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the splash page right here. And this is what it looks like when you first start. You need to create a new project. All right? So I'm going to go ahead and go up to New. And I'll just go with project ... And you can search for a project, Java project here. Right? Sorry it's so small, but I'm not able to zoom in on this stuff. But you'll see this tomorrow. Java project, give it a name. CSCE 155H. Finish. When you have this question, always select Don't Create. Okay? It's just a technical issue that was introduced in Java 11 or something like that, the module system. Forget about the module system. Don't create. All right? And then open perspective, sure. This will open you up into a Java perspective. You see, it's almost virtually the same as over here in your CS50 IDE. I've got a file explorer over here. Right? I've got, well, eventually I will have my executable output down here. I've got my editor right here. I'm going to go ahead and close these tabs, though. You can always restore them later on. I believe if you go up to Navigate or View or something like that, I forget what it is. Not that important right now. I'm going to go ahead and create a new, first of all, a package. We'll talk about what packages are starting Thursday. But I'm going to call my package unl.cse. It's kind of like a reversed URL. cse.unl.edu. Edu education, that's the most general. UNL is an actual institution. Within the institution, we have CSE, a particular department. So it goes from more general down to most specific. With packages, it's the reverse. We will go with the institution and then the organization, the organization within that institution. Right. Finish this. That just creates basically a folder, right? That's kind of like this folder over here in C, but it's a little bit more meaningful in Java that we'll talk about on Thursday. Now I'm going to create a new class. I'm going to call it Hello World. Right? Usually everything is case sensitive in computer science, and if something's not case sensitive, then it stinks. So here, capital H, Hello World, with a capital W, that is not the same thing as lowercase w. In fact, if I save this, it won't even compile anymore. You can see here that there's a syntax error. It's underlining this with a red mark, that it does not match the file name that I just created. Okay, so undo that. There we go. I also have how did I begin my program over here, by the way? The main function, right? In any program, any executable program, you have to have a starting point. That starting point in the vast majority of programming languages is going to be the main function or the main method. In this case, it's the main function. Over here in Java, to make this executable, I need a public static void, forget about what those mean for now, main string args. Right. Again, don't worry about the magic for now. Right? What I want to do is I want to simply print out hello world. So I'll take my first poll here. How many people know a little bit of Java already? All right, the good majority of you. So just help me out. System.out.print ln, or that ln stands for line, or print, or just like C, printf. Your choice. There are lots of different ways of doing it. I'll go ahead and print ln here, and I'll print hello world. Now the nice thing about ln here is that it puts that /n end line character in for me automatically. If I can always put it in manually if I want to, but now it'll print 2 lines, 2 end lines instead. So let me go ahead and keep it like that. How do I run this program? There's a play button up here. Play it. And you can see the output down here, just like we saw over here in the CS50 IDE. Say what? It's magic. It's background magic for you. Yes, you compile it, but it's doing it automatically for you. You can shut that off. Compile. No, where is it? Like there's project. Yeah, build automatically. You can shut that off. Now it doesn't compile for you, and I'm going to have to do that manually by going up to. Damn it, where was it? build all, and I'd have to click it. Right? But here I'm going to reset that so that it builds automatically. So you can see that if I have a syntax error, right, immediately it says, nope, it doesn't compile. It's running in the background constantly. Compile. Every keystroke that you make a change, it's trying to compile it, or maybe every like 5th keystroke or something, and it's reporting back immediately.
Is there an a.out file?
Yes, in a sense, but it's hidden from you over here. There's a hello world.class file, and it's somewhere in the background over here. In fact, we can look at it. Right click, what is it, properties. I'll open this up on my, this just opens it up on my computer here. That's where it's being hosted. src, that's where the hello world.java file is. And right next to it is bin. What do you think bin stands for? Binary, right? Bin, and there's a hello world.class file. But it's all opaque to you because we're using Eclipse. It's taking care of those details for us. Okay? All right, any questions? I don't see anything online. So you'll get started right away in tomorrow's lab and start doing Hack 1 as soon as you can, because On that one, there is required collaboration. You'll be pushing stuff out to GitHub, and you'll be sharing it with somebody else. They'll be pulling your changes. They'll be pushing their own changes, so that you can get practice on how to collaborate on one code repository. Don't worry, you're just doing a Hello World program. Yeah.
How will we be assigning?
Yeah, it's up to you. You don't. You could. I mean, if you can't find anybody, you could even team up with an LA. It doesn't matter. That we're grading on the process. Can you push? Can you pull? Can you commit? Can you clone from somebody else? Can you push out to their repository? Okay. I'll see you on Thursday then.